Mike Wilson here. Hello, everybody. Just sitting here in the state park that borders my house and was reading an online discussion on what's the cause of stuttering, and I think the experts would say nobody knows for sure. There's various theories, but I have some observations on that. So it seems that every stutterer, every person that stutters that I've talked to, and I've talked to many of them in the last couple of years since getting really involved in the support communities, it seems like the number one predictor for, I think, everybody I've spoken to as to how much they're going to stutter, number one predictor seems to be who's listening or not listening. So if you're talking to yourself or to your pet or to a baby, many people don't stutter at all, but everybody I've talked to stutters less. And in talking to people that they most want not to stutter in front of is who they're most at risk to stutter, right? So like your boss or maybe a person of the opposite sex or same sex, whatever floats your boat, that you really want to impress, that you really want to come across as well-spoken, funny, intelligent, all that kind of stuff. And it's super interesting, right? So if the number one predictor of how much somebody's going to stutter is who is listening, that obviously indicates a deep psychological component to this thing. Now, that being said, and I know in my case, for example, for years, because I largely had gotten beyond the psychological side of it in my late teens when I learned to look people in the eye, had eye contact training, and sort of developed the attitude, I'm going to say what I have to say no matter what, even if I stutter. And I'm not going to change words. But despite the fact that I had taken care of the vast majority of these psychological side of things, I still had a pretty severe stutter because I was in really bad physical habits, really bad breathing habits. I would just try to push my way through blocks with force, which is not how human speech is designed to happen, of course. It's just supposed to be airflow coming out of the lungs, vocal folds, turning that into voice, articulators, forming that into specific sounds, and then words and language, obviously. It's not supposed to be a forced process like that, right? So I do think there's both a physical and a psychological component. Is there a genetic component? My understanding is there seems to be some evidence for that, but from what I understand, some people that have the, quote, stuttering gene or genes do not grow up to stutter. Some people that don't have the genes do grow up to stutter. I've heard of instances of, I know a couple people that say they started stuttering when they were 13. One lady I read about the other day was sharing her story on one of the online groups, said that she had, I guess, a stroke in her late 20s, and after that she started stuttering. So there's all sorts of randomness with this condition, but it seems that the number one consistent predictor is who's listening, and therefore how much social anxiety there is, performance anxiety, fear, or whatever you want to call it, that is there in the person's mind, and to what extent maybe do they panic to where they suddenly lose the ability to say the word. I don't think we ever forgot how to talk. I don't think I ever forgot how to say my name, but it was one of the most difficult things for decades for me to say until I found the current program that I'm on. So anyway, just had that thought, wanted to share it. Bye for now.